Okay, so I bought a Traxxas Max. The tires all weigh a ton. One of them had blown out, but I discovered from that the previous person never plugged the drain holes and obviously took it out off-roading in the mud and stuff. If you kind of look right there where there's a light, you can see how much is coming out. So I'm going to be gluing them back to their own rims. So it doesn't matter if I cut the tire as long as it's as close to the rim as possible, because it will glue itself back. I've done this before. You just want to carefully work your way around. Cutting as close to the rim as you can. But again, it doesn't have to be perfect. You will be gluing it to itself. And I mean, if you had money to burn, you wouldn't be watching this video. You'd be buying new tires, wouldn't you? Right, so I'm going to release this video first. This is me taking one half of the wheel off. I always do the inside, not the outside, because the outside's visible. This side, most people never see it. So because this is for a Traxxas Max V2, the 4S, and it does spin these tires pretty darn fast, when I reassemble, I'm doing some drywall tape and some Gorilla tape on the insides to help them hold up. I have to do one because of the blowout, which wasn't too bad. So I figure I might as well do them all so they're all evenly weighed. This does get hard on your hands to push back, so don't forget to wiggle and stretch it out. Nothing wrong with that. So as you can see, that's been what? 2.5 minutes of my talking. It's half done. So it should only take you 5-ish minutes per wheel. Once you get a bit more confident, you go a bit faster too, of course. But don't try to suck it up. Let your hand wiggle out. So these are the Proline, what are they, the trenchers? Yeah, the Proline trenchers, number 10175. They're 2.96 by 5.5. And they have the replaceable inner hex, so they're rims worth putting a little effort into. I mean, we live in such a wasteful, disposable society. I try to save stuff when I can, within reason. I mean, I'm not going to be stupid and start washing and reusing Kleenexes or stuff like that. That's a little too far for my liking. There you go. So when you can push it back on all sides, you've got it enough. What I like to do is I'm going to rinse out the sand from the last one I did. So I'm going to roll it inside out like this. See all the water that's been coming out of the foam? So I haven't got this wet. I bought this Friday night. I haven't run it since. But if you can see, that is just muddy, muddy water. So all you gotta do, soak the foam, squish the foam. So what are we at? We're at like 5.5 minutes. I've already got the foam out. It's already looking better. I mean, this isn't a bed. It doesn't have to be perfect. We're just trying to get sand, moisture, and all that out so that it will dry. And on the tire, this one had the least amount of mud. So there's a little bit of mud right there. Most of them had about section like that in 3 places. So at least 10 or 15 times as much mud. So this one wasn't bad. Wash the inside. You can see inside the rim, there's a lot of mud and gunk. There we go. I'm gonna put this aside to dry. So the tire, that was the worst. Give me one sec. Was this one. This one was beat up pretty bad. I'm gonna zoom in a little here. This one had some cracks in the rim. Oh, I've taped it on the inside. But you can see a crack there, there, there. And I think that was it. I think there was 4 or 5 cracks. I have used a plastic welding kit. So there's actually a metal rail going across. This looks nice and clean. You can see that line there. That's Gorilla tape. It's Gorilla's version of duct tape. Works really, really well. This is the tire that blew out. This was the foam that was in it. You can see there was no damage, which is why I proceeded. The hole, the reason I did the tape was to help cover the hole it blew out. So the foam had blown out. Must have been in that area. Yeah, right in here. There you go. You can kind of see that crack there. Basically, it had ripped from here to here. So that Gorilla tape on the inside is going to give it a little bit of ballooning prevention. I'm then going to have when it's inside out like this, I'm going to run one strip, once it's fully dried, of course. One row of this is drywall tape. That's going to go like that way. The Gorilla glue tape over top of that to protect it. Yeah, there's the actual hole. So you can see how hard this stuff is to peel off. It's really strong. So the drywall tape here, Gorilla glue over top, and that should keep them from ballooning out too much and exploding. So I've done this with my slashes and with my stampedes, and it's worked really well. Hopefully it will scale up to the max with 4S. All right, hopefully that helps some people out there for getting it off. I never cut both sides off the rim unless I'm totally replacing it. Because you can see there's little bits of the rubber that gets cut off when you debead it. And if you cut both sides off to get it lined up perfectly, it's never going to happen, and you're going to have these weird bumps. This way, when you roll it back, it lines up perfectly with the contours, and so it glues really, really well, because rubber does glue well to itself. You can see the hexes are all clean. Rubber is nice. it's worth putting some effort into saving these, especially when you go up in size, because the bigger tires cost a lot more than the smaller ones. All right, hopefully some of you found this helpful, and if there's any interest at all, I'll try to film part 2 when I reassemble them in 3 or 4 days once I'm confident the foams are all bone dry.